Hey, how's everyone doing? So what's going on with that fucking Snyder cut, man? They keep delaying that shit. It's pissing me off. If they delay it another fucking week after this next delay, I'm gonna give up on this shit. What the fuck? What is taking them? What is so hard about putting up the fucking site right now? Like, they're fucking being idiots. They gotta get on this shit right now while the getting's good, you know? While there's still people interested in this, they gotta get the site up. And they fucking just keep delaying and keep delaying. It's fucking annoying, but anyway, that's not what I want to talk about in this. I want to talk about the new direction of the DC film universe. And I know I've already said that Walter Hamada is probably just a scapegoat in case anything bad happens. But then, I kept thinking about it. And what I kind of realized is that maybe Warner Brothers has learned from their mistakes with Justice League, right? Because not only do you have Walter Hamada, now president of DC Films, but you have James Wan directing Aquaman, and you have Sandberg directing Shazam, right? And all three of these guys have worked together. Like, these guys have a working relationship, they're friends. So it makes me think that maybe Warner Brothers got all these guys together because they're familiar with each other and they're going to have the same vision, They're going to stay true to one vision and they're going to have a cohesive universe and they're all going to collaborate and work together to do that. Hamada is going to be in charge of the budgets because that's what he's really good at, All the films he's produced have been super low budget horror films that have made a shit ton of money back. And then you got James Wan, a great director. Fuck Rotten Tomatoes. I can't believe that Rotten Tomatoes has his films rated so low. Like, this guy practically saved horror movies, like, single-handedly, and he fucking made a great Fast and Furious film. Alright, like, how many fucking directors could say that? Not a lot. Sandberg is fairly new. He did Lights Out and Annabelle Creation. And, those movies are good, Pretty good for someone who's just started making films, right? Pretty fucking good. So all three of these guys together can make a cohesive, serious take on the DC universe that has a darker edge to it because they cannot do the same thing Marvel's doing. Alright, Justice League has proven that. Suicide Squad has proven that. You cannot go back into these films and add humor that does not fit, right? I think like the most notable thing in Suicide Squad was when Harley Quinn smashes that window and she says, "It's bad guys, it's what we do." It's from the trailer. That felt so out of place. And it just totally felt like Warner Brothers put that in there. And it just didn't feel right at all. But like, you watch Insidious, you watch Conjuring, and there's moments of levity, right? There's side characters. And in Insidious, you got these two ghost hunter idiots, and they're funny as hell. The whole rest of the movie is serious and scary as fuck. And then you have these two ghost hunter guys that are funny, and they add the levity. But it doesn't take away from what the fuck's happening, So that's what they could do with these DC films, right? They have to realize, that the reason they lost money on Justice League because it was just another Marvel film, essentially, right? They fucking had to bring on Joss Whedon and they had to change the tone of the movie completely. I bet the movie had a completely different tone with Zack Snyder. And Zack Snyder is not the problem, He wasn't the problem. The universe was going in a great direction, right? The movies were different from Marvel. They were unique. They were darker, They were more serious. Zack Snyder was heading down the right track, and Warner Brothers just were fucking idiots. They were just fucking idiots. And they made big mistakes. And now most of those guys that made those mistakes are gone. And what do you know? A bunch of horror film people. Hamada, James Wan, Sandberg, more horror producers from the It movie are coming on to DC films to work on these DC films. So what does that tell you? It doesn't tell me that they're going to make these movies light, you know what I'm saying? It tells me that maybe Warner Brothers has learned their lesson and that they're going to make some darker films now. They're going to make serious films that have moments of levity but are still dark in tone, Because read the fucking comic books, Blackest Night is a dark, fucked up book. Any Batman book is a dark, fucked up book. Wonder Woman, the Brian Azzarello run. Blood, Iron, all those books. Those are fucking dark books. Flashpoint Paradox. It's not a very cheerful fucking book. Okay? It's not a lighthearted romp, It's a dark book. And they still have Jeff Johns as the chief creative officer. And his role should be to make sure they stay true to the characters, and that's it. He shouldn't be responsible for coming up with stories or dialogue or any of that shit. He should just be responsible for making sure they stay true to the essence of the characters. And that's it. That's all his role should be. And that's all I want his role to be, because he's not particularly amazing at writing dialogue. He's great at coming up with stories, though. Like, all his fucking stories are amazing, especially with Green Lantern and Flash. Like, Jeff Johns has wrote some of the greatest stories of all time. It's his dialogue that's questionable in those stories, you know? It's just something about it doesn't feel completely natural, but still, like, the overarching story is amazing, right? But, you know, he should be in the role where he's just making sure they stay true to the characters. Walter Romana should be making sure they stay under budget, you know, making sure they get the best bang for the buck. And James Wan and Sandberg should be responsible for making good films. Patty Jenkins will be making Wonder Woman 2. That's going to be a good film. And Patty Jenkins was saying Wonder Woman 2 is going to be completely different than the first Wonder Woman. And I think all she meant by that is that it's going to be in a different time period. I don't think she's going to completely change the tone, because they nailed it with the Wonder Woman movie. That was the perfect tone for Wonder Woman. That's perfect. Now you just do it in modern day. That's it. It's a good movie. Have Cheetah as your villain. You know, Wonder Woman tries to save Cheetah with love and shit like that. Cheetah's just a super villain. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some good shit they could do. But anyway, those are my thoughts. That's why I think this new direction of the DC films are going down, you know? Because Justice League, it definitely disappointed Warner Brothers, right? They were expecting that movie to make at least $800 million. At least. And it underperformed. And it's entirely their fault. And they know it's their fault. So maybe now they're going to take their grubby little fucking paws off these movies and just start letting directors tell their vision, you know? Get a bunch of directors that have worked together and have them collaborate and come up with an awesome universe. Because these people have already come up with a great horror universe. So we all know they can do this. And yes, Kevin Tsujihara's still there. Yeah, he's still there. But honestly, other than him making the runtime of Justice League 2 hours, he's the only one that fought for Zack Snyder to keep him on the movie. Right? They had a chance to fire Zack Snyder before Justice League even started, and Kevin Tsujihara wanted to keep him. So I don't know how to feel about that man. I feel like he should just give more power to creative directors and stop, you know, interfering, you know. He shouldn't be telling the runtimes of the movie. The director should be determining the runtime, not the fucking president of Warner Brothers, right? So he needs to fucking get his mind right. And other than that, I like the new direction of the DC universe, you know. I like all these horror producers and directors coming on and giving their visions, you know. And maybe they're all going to have the same vision, and they're all going to collaborate and come together and make an awesome universe. And we got Patty Jenkins making Wonder Woman 2, so we're in a good place right now. I mean, things can only get better, right? They can only get better. I'm sure Aquaman's going to be amazing. I'm sure Shazam's going to be really good. I'm sure Wonder Woman 2 is going to be really good. So they need to worry about those films right now. And if all those films, you know, are hits, then we're good, you know? We're good for like the next decade of DC films, right? Like they're just going to keep making them, right? So that's what we get to look forward to. That's the direction I think they're going down. And what do you all think about it? Do you think they're actually going to let all these horror filmmakers actually try to make a universe here, or is Warner Brothers just going to interfere and fucking change their movies at the last second? Like with Aquaman, it's in post-production right now. They're finishing up special effects. They're getting ready for the release, you know? That's all they're going to do this year. The movie's practically done. And if Warner Brothers could just keep their hands off it till December, we might get a great Aquaman movie. So, what do y'all think? You think Warner Brothers has started to change? You know, I think they might have. It's just there's been too many changes, too many different people stepping in that I think maybe Warner Brothers has come to their senses a little bit. Warner Brothers is known for letting, you know, talented creative directors make their own movies, you know. They're known for this. So all they gotta do is get back to that, right? Anyway, that's it for now. Just wanted to mention that it was on my mind, and yeah, I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye-bye.